Welcome. Whoa, okay, guys. As you can tell, I'm pretty much sleeping as we record this, so I just already fucked up the intro. But welcome to the Shooting the Jarek edition of the One Realm podcast, or vice versa. I don't know exactly what this is. All I do know is that we are recording and we're talking MK11.
Yeah,
We're going with something.
I think once we get extra time, more games, we can have the more comeback section just called Shooting Jared.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. Yeah, each game has their own little
But One
subtitle.
Realms, but still called the One Realm. So we have everything.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we can. I'm sure we'll expand to that, especially with the new consoles coming out. There's gonna be more stuff to talk about. But right now, as you can see from the title, what we're gonna be talking about is Combat Pack 2. Obviously, we have both been. By the way, I'm Diego, and I'm recording with Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas, Tommy, whatever you want to call it now.
But Tommy, Chauncey, Thomas, Tommy, I don't know, Tommy T. We got plenty of stuff.
Jackass.
Yeah, dumbass. I've been called many a thing. I'll let you decide what you want to call me. I'm okay with everything. Um, but yeah, so as you can tell, we're talking about the Combat Pack 2, which of course is Rain, Melina, and a Sly Stallone voiced Rambo. Which honestly, I would that like just that alone has me curious. I thought they were going to go with the Schwarzenegger route and end up getting somebody to just kind of be a dummy and imitate him, but they actually got Sylvester Stallone himself to do the voice. So I guess we can kind of start off with the character we're probably both least interested in first, and save the next two, which is going to be a lot more Mortal Kombat fans interested in that. But yeah, Rambo. Like, what are your initial thoughts on Rambo being in the game, and of course Stallone being the voice actor?
All right, so Stallone being the voice actor, that's kind of, like you said, a good thing for once because we don't seem to get those often. We went through the whole, what was it? The whole Schwarzenegger thing where we like, oh, this is cool. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's cool. And then it's like you saw the voice, you hear the voice, and it's like, wow, this is really bad now. And now I have no interest in playing this character at all. But they got the actual voice. I'm personally not a huge fan of Rambo. I've never seen any of the movies, so it's hard for me to have a true opinion. But from what I've seen from his trailer wise, 'cause I didn't watch his combat cast, um, he seems like a little fun to play. Um, if I probably wouldn't have played with him as much, but if Image actually liked MK11, then he probably played with him because he's a lot like Predator. I can say that much.
Hmm. Yeah, I would definitely say that, like, I'm hoping, and I haven't seen anything other than the trailers. I haven't watched any gameplay. I haven't had any time to do any of that. But I'm hoping that he won't be slow and feel heavy like the Terminator. I don't see why he would, because obviously Terminator, he's a Terminator, so he's this indestructible machine. If you make him indestructible as well as fast as hell, then that in the game, obviously, then that's going to be an issue. With Rambo, I think you're right. He probably will play a lot like Predator. He will have, obviously, he's going to be weapons based. He's going to be that kind of character. Um, I would
He's
say,
not as much of a shooter as Jackie or Aaron.
yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see how they balance that out, and how they can figure out a way to really get the Rambo essence in the game. If they're able to do that, then I think that's going to be pretty good because, like, you can I don't know if you have you ever seen the Rambo movies.
No, I've never seen him.
Okay, because the first few are actually really good. The last couple have been shit shows, but I definitely recommend if you at least watch the first couple. Actually, really really good. So if they can really get the essence of what Rambo is, I think they can do something good with him. From a gameplay point of view, obviously that's always the main thing. At least when it comes to these DLC characters that don't have any impact on the main story. At least not as far as we know. Maybe there'll be a pack down the line with actual story, but I don't think that necessarily entails Rambo being involved. You know what I mean? But I think that
Right.
yeah, like you said, the fact that they have Stallone in there, like what I want to see the most is what kind of interactions him as a personality is going to be able to get across. If we can really feel the Stallone attitude in there, that's going to be something I think that can really bolster this game in terms of just the dialogue and stuff like that. Because he's not necessarily the best actor of all time, but he definitely is a very he's a very unique kind of person. I would say, he has that unique feel. He's when you're watching a Stallone film or if you're hearing the guy talk, you it's pretty much unrecognized. Sorry, it's pretty much impossible not to recognize it. So I feel like there's a good chance they
Right.
can do something really cool with this.
Yeah, like I said, I wish I was more into those movies. I could say like, oh, I want to see this. But from what I can say from the trailer, and then occasionally the outro intro. Oh no, I haven't really seen any other intros, but outros. I see a lot of side by sides next to like a clip from the movie.
Yeah.
Like giving some expression blows are directly from the movie. So it's like,
Hmm.
all right, but they did do their homework.
Yeah.
Well, that seems to be like a running thing though too, where they put in a lot more effort on guest characters than they do on their own original characters. At least in the beginning, that's what they did. We'll get more into that as we go talk about the Mortal Kombat characters,
Hmm. Well, I
but
think a lot of that has to do with the fact that when you're talking about Terminator or Rambo or RoboCop, these are iconic characters from iconic movies or iconic series, really. So there are these big moments that everybody either sees in memes or people are just extremely familiar with, and obviously it's very important if you're trying to sell guest characters that you have those memeable moments. They have those huge pop culture moments added into there as gameplay. Whereas with MK characters, obviously for us Mortal Kombat fans, those are the most important things. But for your average person who's going to be extremely
well,
excited for Rambo, that's what that's all about for them, really.
yeah, I get that too. I'm not against that at all. But what I mean by those lines is like, look at Spawn, who is vaguely iconic. You can't really use that word with him,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. He's definitely.
but
I didn't even remember he was
he
in there.
looked when you saw his yeah. But as in his trailer and his gameplay, it looked super fun.
Yeah.
And they did a lot of stuff for very little to work with. I feel like. I mean, yeah, there's the comics and then they had the movie, but still feel like they could have like you get a lot more out of a guest character. I mean, they got Keith Davis for his voice.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. They. I think that's the
Yeah.
big thing. Like they try to get these like whether. They try to impress with the guest characters as much as possible, and what that also might be is like, when it's their own property, when it's their own characters, they don't have to worry about other companies being like, okay, we saw what they did with Dairu. We approve. We want Dairu to be the guest in the next game. Whereas with these guest characters, they know, oh, okay, let's say in MK12 or something like that. I don't know. They want to get Ash just to make an example. Let's just pretend that Ash isn't in there. Okay, if the other company sees, oh, they didn't do shit with Spawn, they didn't do anything cool with Rambo, we're not going to give them our license because they might not do anything good with it. So that might be their whole thing is they try to go balls to the wall with the guest characters to ensure that they have good credit for
Impress
getting other
other
guest characters. Yeah,
investors.
exactly.
Okay, I can see
Um,
that. That makes sense.
I think that's probably what they and whereas with their own property, like I said, they don't have to worry about getting permission to use their own characters. So but that could be wrong. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying
Yeah,
that's what seems most likely to me.
that's a theory.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah,
we
it's
got
a
Rambo
theory.
out of the way.
Oh yeah, all they have to
Yeah.
worry about with all I'm saying is all they have to worry about with their characters is death threats.
That's true.
So which death threat do you want to work on? The Rain or the Molinas?
Well, okay. let's just go ahead and talk about Melina first, because we care about Rain. Like Melina, obviously, and before we go into this, I want to preface this by saying Melina is a good character. Melina has been an interesting part of Mortal Kombat lore for a long time now. Whether she is one of my favorite characters, that's definitely not the case. But I can understand people wanting Melina to be in this game. What I don't understand is how a character has been in so many games and her seemingly new fan base is this toxic. It's insane.
No, I think we talked about. I'm pretty sure we talked about Combat 2 before on a podcast. Not sure if we actually put it out or whatever, but I will go to. Let me go ahead and disclaimer this all real quick. First, I agree with you. Yes, Millie's a good character. In fact, she's one of my favorite characters to play with. I mean, within the past two games, since the new era started, I have made Melina every time. Now, granted, if I look at her as a favorite character, hell no. I'm gonna pretend like I do. But also, when I saw her die, it was shock factor, but it's like, all right, well, she's not in the next game. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And yes, literally what you said. But I want to pretty much explain the same story I told my uncle real quick, and then you clarify if I'm wrong at all. Melina has been in, let's see, two. She was unlockable in UMK3. She was put into Gold. She was put in Deception, Armageddon, 9X. So 7 games. 7 out of 11 games.
Yes.
Okay? And that's not even counting Trilogy or Shaolin Monks here.
Yeah.
So 7 out of 11 games she's been in. She had a good story. I wish we would allow way more on it, but her arc was over. So I was like, all right, we don't need to. Granted, the whole time travel thing, you think they are back for this one. It makes sense almost, but they didn't. We'll just look past that part. But even if that's the case, so you're like, all right, well, she died. I'm not too against it anyway. Now, this is where the problem comes in with the whole toxic fan base. And this is for real. Just put it like this. It went from, I literally remember seeing stuff like this where you'll just click on a thread about Mortal Kombat and you're just like, we want Melina. And this is not even about Ed Boon either sometimes. This is stuff from Ed Boon, stuff from Bruss, anything in the Mortal Kombat chat, anything. You'll see, even this new guy who's recently started making videos, Tujin. He will get like spam with Melina, like we want Melina chats and stuff like that. It's like, really, it's not that big of a deal. And granted, after over a year of death threats, just hate mail, then there was the whole. I remember bringing this up when we were talking about the Gotham game. Gotham Knights, yes, that's what it's called. And they were talking about everyone was like supporting a fellow game with WB, and somebody literally said, "You need to worry about your own game." Granted, that is a very true dose of reality that everyone needed because they did not talk about their own game at all. So I'm just saying, the shoe fits. They go for it. Then they finally broke down and put Melina in the game. And we had talked about this day one once the trailer came out that people were upset that's how she looked. And granted, I'll put it like this. That trailer did not make Melina look good at all. Now, the new trailer she has with her actual gameplay and all the promotional stuff they've done, Melina looked a lot better now. Because even you said that your girlfriend looked at Melina, she said she was not a fan of it.
Yeah.
At first, just the look
Didn't
of
like
it.
the look of it, the costume and face.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm not sure if you turned her picture or video since then, but I'm pretty sure her opinion would slightly change. Like she looks better than what she looked like the first time
Yeah,
when
most
she
important.
first
Yeah,
saw her.
mostly like that's something I kind of want to go on is once it actually comes out and drops, because she is the resident Melina fan, then I'll see what her judgment is, and kind of see what she thinks of it. And of
Yeah,
course, costume, all that stuff. That's all.
yeah,
To each their own. Everybody has their own subjective tastes, but I think in general,
yeah,
yeah, you're right. They've definitely improved on her look, since that trailer.
yeah. But and then like I said, we have the whole conspiracy theories where you take literally any word and people will tie it back to Melina somehow.
Pretty much.
I mean, I can do that right. I can do that right now if you want me to,
All right, fine. Let's put in
just for shits and
pineapple.
giggles.
Yeah, pineapple. Pineapple scale teeth. No, sorry, pineapple shark tooth.
Okay. I mean, I'm looking at a golf club right now. I was going to really use that one,
All
but
right,
that
go
works
with the
too.
golf clubs. That's yeah, that's more out there.
Okay. Golf. Golf. Four-letter words. Sport. Sports. And basketball is a sport. There was a game that had Sub-Zero and Scorpion as basketball players back in the day. Back in the day, Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 2 was also back in the day. And fuck, chicken noodle and pineapple in there too. Okay, so Mortal Kombat back in the day, pineapple. Pineapple. Who lives in the pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob SquarePants, who is yellow, and his best friend is pink. Pink being a girl color, yellow and pink, Power Rangers girl colors. Okay, okay. Female empowerment, but also not the cutest one from the original Power Rangers. But leads the game because the Pink Ranger was not the prettiest out of the Yellow Ranger back in the day when Mortal Kombat 2 was still a fucking thing.
Welcome to every single Mortal Kombat related comment section. Essentially, that's actually a pretty accurate insight on how things have become, which is just completely strange because I think I mentioned this kind of earlier. It's like this is just a fan base that seems to have completely sprung out of the blue. Like I didn't feel this. I didn't feel this Melina fandom in MK9. That's for sure. I would say that it probably started after MKX. Wouldn't you agree?
Uh, it got worse after MKX, but we both know it was definitely there in MK9, given the fact that we were both, when I was that age, I was 14. When that game came out, I was 14. And we remember, and we've talked about it multiple times, the greatest prize ever, the greatest achievement ever.
Yeah.
What did we get for that?
Obviously, you got the beautiful
Exactly.
Melina costume that nobody wanted.
Toilet paper.
Yeah.
Toilet
And
paper.
I
We got
get
toilet
that.
paper.
I get that. That's obviously a thing. But what I mean is, like, yes, she had fans, but they weren't toxic at all. At least not that I can recall.
Well, that's the thing. It gets worse though too, because even with that, you have a bunch of at that time. Let's say you take out the whole sex appeal thing, okay? You have a bunch of emo teenagers at that age now that all can relate to. Everyone when you're young always relate to like the bad person, like no one understands me, and life is so such a drag and cruel. I mean, Melina is literally all of that. Her life was crazy enough. Her life was better in the new era, in the new timeline, than it was in the original.
Basically, yeah.
I mean, back in the day, Shao Kahn didn't even love her at all. But people relate to her. It's like the same people who relate to Melina are the same people who ask like, why can't Melina and Katana be friends? This is just not meant to be that way. But all that being said, though, I don't have a problem with Melina, as we both discussed. I actually like Melina, but I'm just not batshit crazy for Melina.
Yeah, like honestly, like in MK9, she was top 3 or 4 favorite characters to play as, and obviously there's a difference between a character being a favorite from a fan point of view and a character being a favorite from a gameplay point of view. But consistently, she's been one of the more entertaining characters gameplay wise. MKX was the same thing. I remember her in her even in the PS2 era, in the 3D era, she was actually one of the few characters that was always pretty fun to play as because obviously they all had the same exact things, but for each game essentially they had the same gameplay all at, and I don't know, like even in Armageddon, I enjoyed playing as her more than most other characters on that roster. So like from a gameplay point of view, she's always been pretty entertaining. She's always fun. It's just like I guess the bottom line is at this stage of MK11's life cycle, is Melina's presence something that's really going to get me to be excited and go out and want to spend the money? Not necessarily. On her own, no. But as we move on to the next character, this is something that I've been wanting
Before we do
for.
that, I
Yeah.
do want
You want to say one thing?
before we fully move on, I want to say this. Her intro with Aaron Black is literally the best. That it's like not slap. It's like kudos to the fans, but it's also like a fuck you guys to the fans in my eyes.
Which one
I'm
was
not sure if
that?
you heard it yet, have you? So it's literally she literally asks Aaron like a penny for your thoughts, pretty much, and he's like, I'm just trying to figure out why the hell you're here. And she literally says, the millions of souls cried out for my return. It's like, yep, that is fucking what happened.
That's a good way to put it.
That is
Yeah,
literally what happened.
that's a good one. That's a clear reference to
Now,
real life. Yeah.
are we? Now, question: do you want to talk about gameplay first, or do you want to go ahead and go on terrain?
Well, I mean, I haven't seen anything from gameplay, and
Or
we will obviously be covering this once the DLC comes out. We'll talk more about the characters themselves, the gameplay, etc. But yeah, I haven't seen anything gameplay wise. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I haven't had time. But if
so
I'm
you haven't seen like
definitely,
the trailers yet,
I've seen
have
the
you?
trailer. Yeah, I haven't seen any of the game of the combat cast.
No, so I'm talking about at least the trailer, because even if the trailer looks good,
Oh yeah, yeah, for
like
sure.
for both Rain and Melina.
Yeah. Well, one thing
I
I'll
mean,
say, like, I don't really think we've seen a trailers in MK11's life cycle where they haven't looked good from gameplay wise. You know what I mean?
true. And also with the everything being sped up, it looks like it's faster than what it really
Yeah.
is.
Like even Terminator when they showed the gameplay, or in RoboCop, which I don't enjoy playing as either one of them. They were both fine. Like they both look good when it comes to the trailers.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I guess you have a point there.
Animation wise,
All
obviously
right,
it looks great.
let's talk about Rain.
Yeah, but yeah,
Oh
let's
yeah,
definitely
for
go into
sure.
Rain. Like a character we've both been spouting out propaganda for a long time. Um, we both just really really love this character, and we want us and so many other people have been asking this. He was the most desired character, according to a poll that Ed Boon himself put out, but they still failed to put him on the main roster. So it's like this is a guy that's his time has finally come, and this is the second time he's been DLC. Obviously, in the modern cycle, he was a DLC character in MK9. He was unfairly skipped in MKX, but he's finally coming back here. Um, Obviously, and I'll go ahead and I'll start off with this one. Like, obviously, this is the character that for me is the reason why I'm spending the $15 to get this. Like Rambo, it's a cool little thing. Stallone being there, it's cool. It's a nice little. It's not. It's a nice little addition. If he was the main thing in this combat pack, would I be buying it? No. Melina, I like the character gameplay wise. I'm sure she'll be fun to play. She'll probably be one of the best ones to play if they can maintain that pace that she usually has in these games. But she doesn't really do it too much for me in terms of a character as a selling point. but Rain definitely does. And so far, and I actually am really curious about your opinion on what we've seen so far from his gameplay, because he does have some interesting little changes to his look and his moveset. Um, I'm kind of curious to see how that's actually going to play out, but so far I'm really interested in seeing how they what they can do with him. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about too when I say something different about him.
I'm assuming one or two things. One, I'm assuming you're talking about his new claw mechanic now,
Yeah, that's a thing.
or
That's
whatever
what
that
exactly it.
dagger is. But that's not the thing you're talking about, is it?
I'm talking about the arm. Yeah.
Okay, so I thought you were talking about something different too.
Um. Okay. Now I'm kind of worried. Like maybe I
No, the
missed something.
arm thing. Okay, so I just want to go ahead and put this out real quick, and tell me if I'm wrong for thinking this too. But did you ever get the vibe that any of the ninjas were anything but white besides Jade and Tanya?
Not
Or maybe even
really.
Asian, if you want to throw that out there.
I mean, they're supposed to be Asian, but
I mean,
I've always seen them as white because of how they've always been portrayed. Yeah.
true. All right.
Yeah.
So
Except for
are we
Hanzo.
not going to pretend like Rain is now black now?
Yeah, that's a thing.
I have no problem with it. I
Yeah, me
have no
neither,
problem with
obviously.
that.
But
Obviously, I'm myself as an African American, but I'm just saying in general, like it's, and maybe there's more to this than what I'm thinking. Well, it might be exactly what I'm thinking, kind of. So there's an option of representation. Okay, I get that. Not against it, but it kind of goes around the lines to. I think this is something we'll talk about off air too in a second.
mm-hmm.
But now it's like, all right, do you change the nationality of Dagon and Taven as well, or are you just saying that August got part of Jungle Fever? I guess I don't know. Oh shit!
Yeah.
But no, like now, like, I think it's just something that recently happened all of a sudden. I mean, he looked Arab back in the day, and I'm not even against. Like, I don't even care about that part. It's just like I'm not gonna. Okay, this is not something that I have not seen online. Actually, I'm not gonna pretend like I haven't seen that online. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
actually a talking point. But part of the reason why I think that's the thing too is, and this should be. I'm more okay with this one than the other. Um, so back in the day, MK9, not MK9. Wow, I said back in the day, and I said MK9, which that was fucking 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, when Now Election came out, there was an actor who had a total of three scenes, but one was copied. So two scenes. Um, his name was Tyrone Wiggins, I believe. And in the data mines, they found a TW for Rain. So everyone's assuming that they're going with the voice actors as well from the movies that we talked about before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tyrone Wiggins was a black man, just saying.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense then. Yeah.
So maybe if that's the case, I kind of get it. It's simple and stupid, but I mean, Aquaman and Injustice is white, but he's voiced by Lamar. Or damn, I don't know his last name. He's literally almost everything else,
Mm.
but cartoon wise. But I don't know. But other than his new little mechanic that controls the lightning, it looks like a fucking lightning rod. Now his Now the new thing is that instead, and it's probably like we don't explain the show. You just watch the magic. You don't explain it. Because now they're saying that he teleports his victims to a watery realm. And everyone's realized, like, remember back in the day when we had just six realms, and now we have the dream realm. We have all these other things. Which, granted, we knew we had a little side realm. It's like now the watery realm. And even with Rambo, he goes back into a portal that goes back to Vietnam. So either A, he can time travel, or B, there's a Vietnam realm. I wish we could just, hey, here's the prince of Edenia, half god. That's all we need for a bio. We don't need all this description of what they how their powers work and stuff. Like we don't need this. We don't need the science to the magic.
Yeah,
I
fair
guess that's
enough.
where I'm going with this.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll give you that. Like, it's
But
it's
looks
just
wise and gameplay wise, that's what I'm seeing. It looks fun.
yeah. I don't have any beef with it. It's just like okay, that was just a weird thing. It's just like okay, well, I didn't expect that to be a part of his look and all that. But if it works and it's just to kind of like bring this around what you were saying, like okay, all of a sudden he's black. Like that's not a big deal at all because realistically, like we haven't really seen him enough to have. It's not like he's Sub Zero where we've seen his face so many times, where we've seen him in so many different games where we know what he looks like. So if all of a sudden Sub Zero becomes black or whatever, or Sub Zero becomes a woman or something like that. I mean, obviously not counting Frost. Then it's like okay, yeah, that's weird. That's a big change. But a guy like Rain, where we've only
But
seen
it did a
him
little. I think
here and there, you know?
that logic would make more sense because I agree with you. We've seen Rain in trilogy. We see him in Armageddon. We see him in Nine. We see him in X. Okay, that's 4 games out of 11.
Yeah.
That logic makes sense if we literally didn't give the guy a fucking family. And
That,
he has two
yeah,
brothers and a dad
I'll give you that. That's for what's
that we've
100%
seen
true.
their face multiple times.
Yes. I agree with you 100%. What I mean is, like, it doesn't, there changes to his costume or whatever his ethnicity. That doesn't bother me as much as it would bother me for other things. It's not like, you're, what they're doing. I can't remember what character it is in DC where they're making him black. I can't remember which one it is, or they wanted to at least. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, like that, it doesn't
I got a
matter.
better example. When they ginger, I have a better example that when they ginger bend certain characters from comic books.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to think of a prime example of who it was. But I know like the Arrowverse they did it a couple of times. Like
Oh, okay.
instead of so it's not super obvious they make the Mirror Master. I think they just did it with them when they had a male version of him, yeah, but now
Mm,
they just made a female version of him as well now.
yeah, yeah. But like for me, the bottom
I don't
line
know, just
is like if it's a character who
that's
it's kind
already
of set in
established.
stone that he or she is what they are, what they look like, etc. Unless it's like, oh, they're becoming an android, or whoa, they've been burnt, or something like that. Like, leave who they are, what they are. There's no need to be changing stuff. But Rain, if I don't know,
Rain,
it's
I get.
weird, but
Rain,
yeah,
I
it's
kind
not
of
the end of
see
the
what you're
world.
coming from because we don't see him as much.
Exactly.
We
It's
don't see
like,
him as much. At the same time, we've kind of got a whole family for this guy now.
yeah. Well, yeah. Obviously, me and you and
But
the other hardcore fans know his past, but a lot of people probably don't. Like that's just the reality of things.
well,
That's just So I'm sure that I guess the bottom line is like that's not what his ethnicity is isn't really an issue for me. Um, but the bottom line is like what like you
I
said,
just
man. Like what we've seen so far looks good for Rain, and I'm excited, very very excited about playing as him.
I think this goes along to the fact that I think we do live in a more it's more in your face about things in general
Mm,
that it's not a problem, but it's like no, they make me uncomfortable. Just like that's weird, but I guess it's the same.
yeah,
And
yeah.
again, I had no problem with him being gay.
No, no, of course, but
Melina, got. I mean, there's a Fort Snake did a video actually where, and it's not even about him making the video. He just like took from a vine, but it's like when let's all right. So give me two characters now.
That have nothing to do with each other, just random
Give me two
characters.
characters. You give me two characters. I don't care.
Okay,
Yeah, this is
well,
all for shits and giggles right now.
all right, we'll go ahead and go with Sonya, and we'll go with Geras.
All right. So let's say so. Yeah, I just use that one. I'm gonna try because the whole point of it is like they took the intro dialogues and said, "Oh, they fucking," and it's like, no, they're just getting ready to fight. And it's like, and I said like we use one from Jackie where she's like, "Oh, you don't want to roll me down, hold me, pin me down to the ground," and it's like, "Oh, they're fucking," and it's like, no, they just being a little flirtatious, and it's like. There's another one. It's already happened three times, and then the guy who says, "Who can get like defending?" Like, "Oh, they fucking yeah, they fucking." It's like they get the same thing with Tanya and Melina now, and Stephanie Bareback have already, or Barb. I'm not sure how her last name is, but Stephanie already said that there's going to be an ending that kind of tributes to the Melina Tanya love thing,
Mm. Okay.
or how they, yeah. But there's no problem with it. Just like it's like trying to pair up everybody nowadays. They are trying to
Yeah.
I don't know what the point of it is. Like,
Well,
yes, representation matters, but it's like it's kind of hard to do make new characters in for that.
yeah,
You don't have to
that's cheap.
change other things.
That's a cheap way of doing it, you know?
Exactly.
It's like,
I mean, you literally made
Go ahead.
a original character that was gay. And it's like, okay, but that's not a problem.
Yep.
Now it's like, all right, so now we are gonna make. Oh, I'm gonna stop right there before I end up shooting myself in the foot if we ever get bigger somehow. I want to stop right now over your head, but the whole point is, yes, Ray looks cool.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with him. I expect I really want to play with him, but I think in general, like I wouldn't have this much animosity towards him if we didn't have to fucking pay for him. I guess.
Yeah, yeah. That's
And that
fair.
just goes back. It's, it's like that whole thing. I want to make a meme about it. I'm pretty sure someone might have already, but I definitely want to. Where you take the video from MK Annihilation where Rain dies, and it's like right before he dies, when Shotgun's like, "Rain, this will never happen again," and you put Boone's face there instead of saying, "We will never." We will never pay again for DLC.
Yeah, never
And then
deal
Rain
same
dies,
DLC
like, we will
twice.
never pay again for DLC. And
Yeah.
then boom, 2 games later.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
like,
I agree.
I think that's pretty much where most of my gripe for.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I think that especially because he was, he was a character that everybody wanted so much, so it makes no sense for him to be DLC. But aside from that, yeah, like I guess that's kind of the thing is like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna buy the DLC. I'm gonna spend the extra $15, which means I've spent I think about $90. Obviously, I live in Europe, so obviously I'm talking about euros, which is more than dollars. I think €1 is like 1.2 or $3, so it's a little bit more. So I've spent €90 plus what was it, $40 I think for the Combat Pass. So we're about 130 plus this. So we're already at over 140 bucks more or less.
Don't forget about Aftermath.
Yeah, that's I'm the $40 I said was Aftermath.
Yeah,
I
and
think it was
then
like
30
40
bucks for the
bucks.
Combat
Yeah.
Pack 1.
Yeah, so we're looking at almost $200 at this point. It's like it's a lot of money that has been spent on this game, and I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys and say like I play it regularly. I really don't. I play it every once in a while. I played it last about a week ago or so ago when I had my friend Joe Pina over. He isn't a Mortal Kombat fan, but he wanted to play a fighting game, so he popped on Mortal Kombat. And it's like it's something at this point that I play occasionally, but I continue to spend money on it for two reasons. Number one, I want the franchise to continue, and number two because they're doing something smart from a business point of view. They know what we want, and they're putting in that there's 1 or 2 characters per 6 characters. So what I'm saying, like on average, like out of 6 characters, that we have like 1 or 2 that we all really want, and they're intelligently putting them in the right packages. And it's just like they have those 1 or 2 that are selling for the MK fans, and they have the 1 or 2 that are selling for the guest characters. And it's like at the end of the day, they make a bunch of money, and we're all falling for it, and it's inevitable I'm gonna fall for it again.
Well, I true, and I feel like this too, because one, let's be honest, I'm not pre-ordering this this version because of the fact that there is there's nothing that I really want from it. I mean, you look at the new skins from um for Scarlet, Liu Kang, and
Mm-hmm.
new Saiba. I don't like none of them. The only one I kind of like is Scarlet because it's kind of homage to the comics. Outside of that, but even then, it's like, well, I don't need that.
Yeah,
Versus like with Aftermath, like, oh, I need all 3 of these costumes.
exactly, exactly. And I'm not gonna lie, like the only
Um,
reason I'm gonna buy it is because my girlfriend's favorite character is Melina. So I mean, it's like that's pretty much the only reason. Because for as much as I play it, I mean, as much as I want Rain, the game's been out for what, almost 2 years now, or no? How long has it been? Almost a year.
it'll be 2 years in April.
Yeah, 2 years, 2 years. So it's like
It's been a year and a half.
yeah. So it's like it's been out for almost 2 years. I'm not exactly enthusiastic about the game because I feel like they shat on a lot of things. They really blew a lot of opportunities. And realistically, it'll be another thing where I play it for a day or two, and then it's kind of done. But I don't know. It is what it is. I guess $15 isn't the end of
Well,
the world.
let's look at this too. I guess the other problem, and we've talked about this before, but just want to reiterate, and hopefully we can just remember this is why we have a problem with it. This game has a lot of great things. Story wise, it was phenomenal. It was great. Aftermath was great as well. The addition to like the endings with the actual being like in third and first person versus this some random person telling you about these people's ending, how their story ends. A great fucking roster. But one, I don't care for the gameplay. And two, I want you to name off all the more combat characters and all the DLC we got in this game.
Okay, well,
Just do that for me real quick.
okay. Let's see if I can recall because my brain is trash at its best, let alone me basically being asleep. Okay, so we had
So
Shao
I
Kahn.
give you two. Rain Molina.
Yeah, of course. Oh wow, woof, man,
Okay.
that really. Oh, thank God. All right, so we have Shao Kahn and Shang Tsung. We have Shiva. Then I'm trying to think. We have
Okay.
Sindel. We have Nightwolf.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
think I'm missing one.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Hmm. Duh, he's in Aftermath. Fujin, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That should be all. Yeah.
So I have all those characters. Yeah. So I have all those characters. Only one of them have not been in a past game, the past 2 games.
As playable, you mean?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, obviously Fujin, yeah.
Rain was in MK9, and you
Yes.
bought him to play it, but he's still playable at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else, you're paying for them in a game, literally in the last 2 games.
Yep.
It's literally the equivalent of now with Molina. It's the equivalent of having to pay for Takeda now, like in this game.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the
And
last game, for example.
and in particular Melina, let's not forget, she was she in Deadly Alliance? I don't think she was.
Nope.
No, but she was in
No, she
Deception.
wasn't.
She was in
Kind of was.
Armageddon. She was in MK9. She
Yes.
was in
Mm-hmm.
MKX. So, with MK11, she has been in the last five. Apart from Deadly Alliance, she was in
No,
every
got
game
DC.
prior to that. Yeah, she wasn't in DC. I'm not counting DC though.
DC.
I'm not really counting just DC. So, but I
That's
mean,
that's more from
it
MK.
it
That's
is.
MK.
Yeah, you're right.
It's
But I
MKA.
should
We
count
think
it. But
it's,
that that was only like a tiny roster from MK
and
characters.
technically
Yeah,
everything's fucking canon now. So
true, true. But
everything is canon.
yeah,
You know, my fan fiction about Matara Melina fucking yeah, that's
that
canon.
dude, hell yeah, I read that. I climaxed just to kind of keep it PC.
Okay, let's stop
All
now.
right, yeah, there we go, and that's it for this episode, guys. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back after these messages. Do you have? Do you somehow not manage to get a boner when
Did
you
you even say that
think
word right?
about? Sorry, what?
Did you even say that word right? You said what did you say?
Which one? Erectile dysfunction?
Okay, you sound like you said something different.
I may have, yeah.
That erect dysfunction, like what?
Maybe,
Yeah,
man.
I'm like you probably picture
I'm
yourself. I was like, what?
I am having the hardest of times of not saying anything dumb. Which, of course, I had just said something very stupid, which is that I beat off to I can't remember who. What was it? Motaro and Melina.
Melina.
I mean, to be fair,
You
man,
should
like,
have said Sheila.
that's a wet dream right there. Okay, let's just go ahead and
I feel
skip
bad for
this.
Matara though.
All right, let's go ahead and not piss off the Melina
I'm gonna
fans.
be honest, like especially. I mean, I'm saying like with Melina with lips, maybe you'd be safe, but
Hmm.
now she have lips again, which I'm happy about.
Yeah.
So I feel now again, I feel bad for Matara if that happens.
Yeah. Poor guy.
He's gonna die for the third fucking time.
Of course. Well, I mean, fair play to
He
him.
died to Shiva. He, he died to Raiden, and now in someone's canon, he's now dead to Melina,
Hey, at least he went out on top.
or
If
at
you know what I'm
least
talking.
been
If you know what
neutered
I'm
by
saying.
Melina. I mean, I don't think you win in that situation.
No, but he literally goes out on top.
No,
All right.
I will say this though: the brutality they put out for these characters do look nice.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
Rain does have one where he literally shocks someone to death, which is not especially one of those. You know, a lot of people have their own fatalities as
Yeah.
brutality now, but so Rain has that one. He also has one where he just does his roundhouse kick over and over and over and over. He's like a one tennis match, pretty much for himself.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Melina's, so I think they figure out how to make her fatality from MK2. And, yeah, and both of them from MK2 um, actual feasible now, and it actually makes sense.
Yeah.
So instead of her, like for a better term, sucking up her opponent, she just bites their head off, then throws it up.
Which is definitely better.
And then for her, yeah, I mean, it makes more sense. But the other one she has too, and tell me if you remember this from MK3. She chugs down something and she just spits shit at you.
Yeah, it's like nails.
Yeah. Well, they gave her that one back again.
Mm.
Like while you're getting stabbed by her side from her throat, she is chugging something down. She just spits it all at you.
Uh-huh. Well, that's all classic
Rambo,
stuff. I'm not against it.
yeah, yeah. But they did give her her classic pose.
Yeah, yeah.
And they gave Rain his classic pose and actually one of the outros. So it looks nice. I'm happy.
Yeah,
I
all in
think
all,
the one
I'm
thing I
not
am looking
complaining.
forward to,
Yeah.
yeah, I look forward to the outros for not the outros, the intros really.
Mm-hmm.
Just to the how certain characters talk to each other.
Yeah, the dialogue is pretty much always the most interesting thing.
Oh yeah. Well, keep in mind, I like her intro from her trailer because she literally is killing all the time's rural guardsmen.
Mm-hmm.
like, that was nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That was really nice.
definitely. Um, all right. Well,
And
I
the voice is finally
guess
growing on me too, so that's another good thing.
for sure, for sure. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much all we can really talk about in terms of pre DLC. We've gone for about 50 minutes, which is I would say 45 to 50 minutes, which is a solid amount. What I do plan on, guys, is um, once the DLC comes out, definitely recording a bunch of gameplay though I can try out the characters, and have a fairly good assessment of my personal thoughts on how the characters play, what they look like, some of the costumes you can unlock, and stuff like that. That way we can come back and we can discuss them a little bit more in depth, and you can have something, nice to look at. Obviously, watching me probably get my ass beat a little bit, but hopefully not too much. I'll try to edit out as much as possible to make myself look good. I definitely won't be playing on the easiest
So
setting. Do
be
not.
a fucking streamer then.
Yeah. True. True.
All YouTubers pretty much edit out their losses.
Exactly.
So they lose a bunch of times on Twitch, and they like edit out all their losses.
Yeah, yeah. It's no point in showing the bad part.
In theory, I don't believe in watching people play video games.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it'll be in the background for anybody who wants to just kind of see what they look like in some of the movesets. If you haven't, in something that's not a combat cast, that can be kind of boring at times, to be honest with you. But not to say that we're necessarily the best, but I would say we're a close second behind the one and only Nethercast. So I mean, that's just being modest here. Um, Obviously, always humble, but yeah, guys, like, thank you so much for listening. I'm not gonna lie, it's been my fault that we haven't been able to do as much stuff as possible. Not just Mortal Kombat wise, because obviously there's not too much to talk about Mortal Kombat, but just in general, been, as always, extremely busy, and hopefully our schedules can align a little bit better once things start to die down a little bit for the winter and stuff like that. So hopefully that will work out. But we will definitely be talking about the Kombat Pack once again over here in the next few days. This should be coming out just before the Kombat Pack. We're recording it on the 14th, on the 15th, no, the 14th. Sorry. So it'll be very close to the Kombat Pack once this comes out, and I'm sure that we'll be seeing plenty of Molina fans complaining about something. I guess just final thought: will Molina fans be happy with what the final result is? Final prediction.
I I feel like they will be in general now. But like I said, when we saw the trailer, I thought people were just bitching about the face, like the teeth. I'm like, she's supposed to be fucking ugly. Get over yourself. But granted, I also haven't given two shits about any other people's opinions really about how MK11 looks right now. So I'm not sure what the actual age is, but I mean, I feel like people will be okay with it. I'm more okay with it now, and since my opinion is all that matters to me, I think I'm gonna be okay.
Boom. Spoken like a true Molina fan. Well done, sir. Well done.
Exactly.
And on that note,
In gameplay, not in character.
yeah, of course, yeah, for sure. I agree with you 100%. Like, for me personally, I'm expecting it to be good, but whether or not it'll satisfy the needs of a bunch of psychos, that remains to be seen. But if you are among those psychos, feel free to insult us in the comment section below, because any press is good press at this point. So feel free to just roast me, or roast us, I guess you could say. Even though
think death threats very good, so it's okay.
yeah, like I live in a different continent than most of the people that will be insulting me anyway. So I don't really care about that too
And I just
much.
don't give two fucks.
Yeah, like, I mean, I always have my personal bodyguard, who was a pro wrestler I'm pretty sure is eventually going to be the champion of the WWE. That's just like my prediction here. I'm sure you'll talk more about that later on.
We'll talk about that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
that out there in a
All right.
second.
Edit that out. Note to self: edit that out. All right. All right. See you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.
Later.